flights. We asked 1,000 adults on our Morrick smartphone panel the question, would you get on a plane this summer? Let's take a look at the results now. 70% of the respondents said that they would not get on a plane this summer, and 21% said they would, 9% don't know. So 70%, Eoghan Corry, you're here to talk to us all about this. 70% won't get on a plane this summer. Are you surprised?
Not at all. It won't be governments, it won't be airlines that will get us back in the sky. It'll be a combination probably of what they'll do, but it is the consumer will decide. When they're comfortable, they'll return in numbers.
Okay, because the airlines we know are planning for a return to flying in the very short term, and we've brought in some of, they're not my friends now, these people, they're your friends, I think, are they?
My friends, they're my mates.
So we wanted to just mock up what it might look like. So I'm going to sit here in this middle seat. Now, who thinks that this is a good idea?
All of Europe and most of Asia as well. The big argument about the middle seat, it came, it went. The European Air Safety Agency decided it doesn't really work. Social distancing on aircraft, there's no necessity for it, and it won't work.
Okay, so if that's the case, why are we doing social distancing in our normal lives if we're going to get on a plane and I'm here rubbing against these people and look, he's sharing this with his big hands and I'm sharing it here? You know, if we're social distancing in our normal lives, why when we get on a plane do we not have to social distance?
Surfaces are a little bit of a problem, but as the professor says, the real action is going to be in crowded environments, people shouting. And remember the word HEPA. HEPA is your friend. The HEPA air filter on an aircraft recycles all the air in the cabin 30 times an hour, 9 times what you do in a hospital operating theatre. The air filtration we have in our modern aircraft, and Ryanair and Aer Lingus are all modern aircraft, make it a very, very safe environment. The action is going to be making sure that people do not board who are carrying our super spreaders. The evidence on super spreaders is that no cases are coming out of aircraft.
Okay, but how do you catch the asymptomatic people? Because we know there are lots of people who are asymptomatic.
You don't. You actually put the extra guards in, such as the HEPA filters on board the aircraft,
and the masks.
The wearing of masks is a very interesting one. It's something that is mandatory in some countries. Canada made it mandatory, and all the European airlines are making it mandatory. The evidence on masks is still out there, but what we find is it's very, very good for reassuring people. Okay. When they see masks, they feel much more reassured than if they don't.
And if this person here is sitting beside me with the mask on, very dodgy because the mask's up over her eyes, right? But if she decides, we're in the air now, I'm taking the mask off, and she lets a big honker of a sneeze and I'm sitting beside her, I've really put myself at risk, haven't I? Because if the HEPA filter is not going to stop the sneeze landing on me.
The evidence or the instructions are sneeze to the sneezer, to sneeze into sleeves, sneeze into something solid. The reality is, even when it's mandatory to wear a mask, there will be exceptions. There will be people who suffer from conditions that doesn't allow them to wear masks, and the wearing of masks with small children is also a big issue. You're supposed to take the mask off to put on an oxygen mask in an emergency, and there is, under the European Air Safety Agency, an instruction that for a limited food and beverage service, last time I looked, you couldn't eat and drink through a mask.
With the mask on. We wanted to ask people how they felt about social distancing on the plane. So our 1,000 adults on the Morrick smartphone panel were asked this question: should social distancing be imposed inside an airplane? And here are the results. 66% said yes and 17% said no. Now, you're not a fan of the social distancing on the airplane. We want to take a look at how it might look, because we know in Malaysia and in Indonesia, right, they want the middle seat left free. So I'm going to jump in here so you'll see. In fairness, there's not much of a distance between me and your man over here.
Absolutely no difference. And the reality is, with the row behind and the row in front, to achieve the 2 metres, you're going to have 3 clear rows. You're going to have aircraft flying with 1/9 of their capacity. It makes flying completely uneconomic. There's going to be a problem making it economic to start with. Big debate in America. Congressmen want the middle seat left open. The airlines say no. But the difference in America is a lot of the American airlines are going for aid to Capitol Hill, and the we could see conditions like that put in. Interesting, the middle seat debate, it started like everything else in Asia. The two countries that went with it were Malaysia and Indonesia. The rest did not.
Okay, talk to me about the Dublin Dodge.
The Dublin Dodge. This emerged last Friday. We now have a 14-day quarantine period where people flying into Dublin are supposed to self-quarantine, and now we have a 4-page form because 30% of the people arriving were not giving indications of where they were going to be. A 4-page form where you say, this is my contact details, this is how you contact me. The idea was to make sure that that there wasn't anyone who decided to do a bunk or done a bunk. But what happens is that there's a very last box on it says if you're going to Belfast or if you're flying on to another flight. And remember, we've 4 very important long haul services into Dublin: Chicago, Boston, New York and Doha. And a lot of people are coming in, well, not a lot, but eventually a lot will be getting onto other flights, and that includes London. So let's create the scenario. You're flying from Amsterdam to London, and you decide to fly Amsterdam, Dublin, and then go to London. You're not forced to quarantine under English law because you're arriving from Ireland, but you've originated in Amsterdam. So it's a way of avoiding the quarantine for English people, inbound English people, and the comedians on social media called it the Dublin Dodge as soon as it was announced last Friday.
Right, okay, so you are avoiding the need to quarantine for 2 weeks in London or your onward destination.
It's purely an English matter.
Now, in terms of holidays, I mean, given what we have learned from our polls tonight, people are not that keen on flying this summer. That's what we're learning from them. But there is a possibility that we could organise a safe route to a place with low infection rates.
For us to get a realistic opportunity of holiday, we need to unlock in an orderly manner, and we need somewhere else to unlock in an orderly manner. Thankfully, there are a couple of our favourite holiday destinations with very low infection rates. Today, the Spanish Foreign Minister said the quarantine required by Spain, it's one of the few countries that require it, will be lifted on July the 1st. That may be connected with Michael O'Leary's decision to put 40% of his aircraft back in the sky on July the 1st. Lanzarote is one of the lowest infection rates in Western Europe. Fuerteventura the same. Gran Canaria a little bit behind.
So it might happen that we do a deal with one of those places. Oh, and we're going to leave it there. I'm going to leave you here now with your nice friends, not my friends.
I'm chatting up that one.
Best of luck with that.
Not getting anywhere, Clare.
Thanks very much, Eoghan. And of course, the other thing we could look at is staying in Ireland, which would really help our tourism industry here facing a really difficult time.